I've written my letter to a woman who inspired me greatly as a little girl. Dear Mariah Carey,
Woo!
I hope this letter finds you well. I am penning this correspondence from my kitchen table in Brunswick, Melbourne. I should have written to you a long time ago, but for some reason I never got around to it. Perhaps I was too shy. Perhaps I was daunted by the arduous task of taming the tsunami of feelings and thoughts that I have swishing around in my head. Perhaps I wasn't sure that you'd ever work your way through the piles of fan mail to read it. But here I am now, finally dropping you a line. My name is Georgia Fields, I'm 27 years old, and I'm a singer too. I was first introduced to your Music Box album in 1993 when I was in year 4. I just moved from the local primary school to a private girls' school. I was there on scholarship because my mother worked in the office and the other girls constantly reminded me of it. Looking back, I definitely was a peculiar child, so I can't really blame them for teasing me about my eccentricities. After all, they were children too. Mariah, let me take you on a brief journey back in time to 1993 in Melbourne. For some reason, at this point in time, it was fashionable to wear bronstone boots with leggings. A terrifying man who called himself Meatloaf was appearing on our Saturday morning video hits program, telling us he'd do anything for love. By now, our hypercolour t-shirts were all worn out, but the fluorescent craze was still apparent in our scrunchies, shoelaces, and accessory choices in general. In juxtaposition to this colourful trend, the clear cola fad was blowing our tiny minds. How do they get the flavour in there if there's no colour? Does anyone remember that? It's just me, maybe. So here I was at school, back in 1993. One of the girls had a class party and brought in your album Music Box to put on the CD player. Now, being a peculiar child, I usually felt quite awkward and alien at such social gatherings, being better accustomed to my family's more raucous grown-up parties where my uncles would roll out the amps into the backyard and play so loud that you had to yell at your cousins, and drunk women who you had to call aunties who you're pretty sure weren't related to you would let you put their lipstick on, and you got to eat this weird stuff called hummus on a biscuit instead of real lunch. But anyway, as I stood among my peers in that year 4 classroom, shuffling awkwardly from table to table, I heard the opening synth chimes of Dream Lover, followed by your trademark whistle tone, and I was instantly captivated. How easily you would jump from octave to octave and then roll down the notes like some kind of agile mountain goat upon a jagged but beautiful landscape. It was new, it was strange, and I wanted in on it. My subsequent lunchtimes were spent hiding away in the rabbit warren of music practice rooms, hunched over a piano, trying not to get sprung by teachers and dragged out into the cruel wasteland of the schoolyard. I'd already been working out Beatles songs by ear, so I turned my skills to your Music Box repertoire. Some of the girls heard me through the hallways, and to my surprise, it was unexpectedly decided by whoever decides these things at school that I wasn't a weird loser and that it was okay to sit next to me. In fact, now some of the girls would drink from the bubblers after me. Your music helped me climb up a rung on the playground ladder from social misfit to social neutral. So, over the next few years, I worked hard on getting acquainted with all your back catalogue, your debut self-titled release from back in 1991, the follow-up release, Emotions, the MTV Live album, which I harassed my poor mother to buy me for Christmas. And I stopped at nothing to wear her down until she also bought the video so that I could study every vocal move, every hand wave, every flick of your tousled hair. At some point, I can't remember when exactly, it became apparent to me that the musical tastes of my classmates had moved on.
Woo!
And by now I was getting into new stuff too, like this new grunge thing everyone was talking about. And the dirty guitars and pounding drums also captured my preteen interest. But I couldn't reconcile this new music taste to my love of sweet, dreamy pop. So I took it underground. I followed the trajectory of your career in secret, even going to see your first movie, Glitter, in 2001, alone, in semi-disguise at the Gate shopping centre. got to thinking. You and your songs were friends to me when I had none. So why did I abandon my public appreciation of you when your playground popularity waned? Why do I still tuck my extensive Mariah Carey collection towards the bottom of my CD rack, making excuses for visitors who sometimes, to my horror, browse through my collection? Why am I still, at 27 years of age, so paralyzingly terrified of what people will think of me? Why can't I just relax and be myself? Mariah, in 1993, you sang that there's a hero. If you look inside your heart, you don't have to be afraid of what you are. It might have taken 15 years for that truth to sink in, but I think it has finally germinated. I'm only at the beginning of my music career, having just done my first album, but already I'm realizing that you can't look to other people to tell you that you're okay, like I did in the playground back in '93. At times, it can feel like the music scene here in Melbourne is one big schoolyard, with all the cool kids playing in one part of the oval, and I'm not invited. I don't know if I'm going to read this bit that I've just written out, but fuck that shit. I didn't check whether we were allowed to swear beforehand. I have to be able to stand tall and be proud of who I am, regardless of what other people think. And you know, it makes me happy to think of the true friends and allies I've made along my journey so far. So Mariah, I come before you, a long-term fan, to say thanks for the songs, for the vocal acrobatics, for the synths, for the beats, and the butterflies. Woo! Next time I'm at a party and your name comes up, I'm not going to sit quietly and pretend that I don't know you. I'm going to chip in with my bit about how much I loved your songs when I was a little girl, and how you have recently redeemed your acting career with your role in the movie Precious, and how fucking awesome your drunk acceptance speech was at the Palm Springs Film Festival. You should YouTube it, it's really good. She just keeps going and going. And I might even bust out a little bit of Dream Lover, because in your immortal words, Mariah, you'll always be my baby. Woo! Yours sincerely, Georgia.